Well, as the Miami Dolphins lost, there you go. Welcome to the Definitive Crusade. I'm your host, Johnny the Machine, having to drink Dr. Pepper Zero. All because I made a bet with the random dude, Josh. Well done. Well done. See, it's all closed up. It's not got stuff in it, although I wish it had. See that? Oh, look at that. It's like a podcast, isn't it? You know, the sound.
In celebration of one of the Broncos' few wins, coincidentally against the Dolphins, I thought I would celebrate in proper Pepper Pack podcast form.
There you go.
Cheers. Oh, that's
also joining me for my ass kicking that seems to happen this week. But more on that coming later. It's Freyja. Freyja, how's it going?
It's going good.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah. All right. So for those that are under the impression they have no idea what's going on, I made a bet that the Dolphins would beat the Bronx last week with Josh. All right. No TDC. I was bored. What can I say? As a result of a 2013 loss, I have got to forfeit. Not content with drinking Dr. Pepper, I have to review a Red Hood book. I can't believe this.
I know. I escaped having to drink a Pepsi and review Teen Titans Go. Funny enough, there was no Teen Titans Go books in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've had to go back to get this one. So it'll all be worth it when the Finns win the ball. I don't mind. Yeah, that's another bet I'll have to make at some point. So let us start again then with I can't believe I have to say this, with Red Hood 51. Okay. So it's written by Sean Martin. I can't pronounce it. Is that right? Sean
Martinborough,
thank you. Tony Akins is on art. Inks are by Stefano Guadano. I know I've said that probably wrong. Colors, Paul Mounts. And letters by ALW's Troy Patira. I'm going to say right now that the cover, we don't normally talk about covers a lot, but it's by Dan Mora. And I would hasten to say the cover is probably the best thing about this book. You know, it's an interesting cover. It's got that 60s vibe going on. It's got a classic Mustang on there. What's not to like about this cover? Oh, yeah, it's got a red hood in it. Son of a... Anyway, let's crack on. So Jason's moved back to an old area of Gotham where he's going to meet up with some old pals and a way to kind of distance himself from Bruce Wayne and Batman. Wait a minute. I've read this book already. Is this not Catwoman? Is this not what happened? Did Catwoman go to a hitherto unknown part of Gotham to hang out where she used to hang out to get away from Batman? I swear to God. DC editorials, one idea a month quota seems to be running true to form. Art-wise, story-wise, there's a gang moving in. Jason's going to come a cropper. There's a vigilante. Doesn't like other vigilantes. You know, standard fare for after the Joker War. The art tries to be a mix between Gray and Nolan, but if you look on that panel, you just go back a page first. There you go, Josh, perfect. Look at the young lady in question. Tell me that that's not a John Byrne figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so art by that's it, Tony Akins. Tony, make your mind up which way you're going. Are you going Nolan? Are you going Byrne? Other than that, it's about 10 minutes of my life I'm not going to get back. So
I feel like the art in this was kind of had that 80s vibe as far as the tones.
Yeah. You know what? I'm looking at this book. I got that 80s vibe all the way through. The gangster there is just cliched. Killer Croc shows up because obviously there's no Suicide Squad book anymore. I tell you what, I hate 6 sacks, a fumble, and getting knocked out of the game because I had to look at this book.
So the important lesson here, kids, is don't make bets.
The important lesson here is, have an offensive line that protects your quarterback. And don't let rookies who run their mouth off saying the NFL's easier than they think it is get their asses handed to them. Right, done.
And then Johnny has to read Red Hood.
Yeah, Red Hood, son of a.
Yeah, this book was rough. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know what it is. All right, I'll put this question out to you before we get into the other books. What is it about Red Hood? What is it that kind of, because I know I'm not a huge fan of the character. Freyja, you're not a huge fan either of Red Hood. It was Tracy that was the big Red Hood fan. So what is it? What is it about Jason that we don't like?
Everything.
Now, let's not mince words. 'Tis the season for giving, so
yeah.
So here's my take on Red Hood. We're all in agreement that Under the Red Hood is a fantastic animated movie, and I truly believe that is the best iteration of Red Hood. Maybe it's because Jensen Ackles is voicing him. Maybe it's just how they portrayed him in the movie. But we've set the expectation of this is what Red Hood should be like. And every book that we've read is not meeting that.
I'll tell you how bad the current Red Hood book is. I miss the Artemis Bizarro Red Hood book. That's how bad the current book is. Freyja, you gonna say something?
I think honestly my main issue with Red Hood is and besides Under the Red Hood, because that movie was fantastic, and I think it was a combination of Jensen Ackles and just everything associated with, because I love that man. I mean, as an actor, he's one of my favorites. But
as an actor.
Yeah, and I like his voice, and I do like their portrayal of him. But in the comics, they don't seem to know like what they want Jason to be. So he's constantly this changing amoeba douchebag that just can't seem to like pick a personality trait, and they try to like it's hard to explain. But he doesn't seem constant, which is my issue within the comics, is that he's constantly like, he's kind of like Bruce, and then he's not like Bruce, and then he's kind of like Nightwing, and then he's not like Nightwing, and then he's just like getting more Damian vibes. And I'm like, just solidify a character trait and how he is and make him not a douchebag. Well, you can even make him a douchebag, but you can't have him be a hero. And
you're absolutely You're absolutely right. You can't be a douchebag and then turn up for the major events as part of the Bat family.
Yeah.
Right. If you're a douche, you're a douche. At least with Damian, I know we talked about this during the Joker War thing. When Batman calls in the family, Damian's not around. And that's because in Teen Titans, Teen Titans. In Teen Titans, Damian and Bruce have fallen out. So he's not going to rock up for that.
Yeah, and so having freaking Red Hood show up, of all people, does not make sense, honestly. And Damian would have made more sense because the kid's 13. He can't just, he does just do out whatever he wants and runs around. So that did make sense too, because he's a 13-year-old, but he was raised by Talia in the League of Assassins, so he can just do whatever the heck he wants, even though he shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, he's also the grandson of Ra's al Ghul, so it's like the League of Assassins is going to listen to him.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But yeah, having Red Hood show up, even though he has the most toxic relationship with Bruce out of all of them, he wouldn't have shown up. He would have been like, screw you guys, I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. It's not just a toxic relationship with Bruce either. He's not particularly fond of Dick Grayson.
No.
And I suppose the one he probably puts up with the most is it's either Tim, because they haven't had that much of an interaction, or Damian.
Yeah.
Because Damian, no matter how you cut the mustard, is Bruce's son.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know Dick's a ward, and I know Tim got adopted. I get it, but from a standpoint, from a logical standpoint, Damien's his son, so you can't really hold that against him,
Yeah.
But there is a level of toxicity within the hood, I think.
Well, I think it's kind of the toxic relationship within the Bat family.
Do you think?
I mean, you look back at Bruce and Dick. Everything was going fine until Dick Grayson gets tired of living, in Batman's shadow and says, screw this, I'm done. He ends up becoming Nightwing, and Nightwing kind of comes and goes as he pleases.
I think I get it. I get where you're coming from, but I think some of that is the fact that Dick Grayson grew up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see Dick Grayson and Batman having a toxic relationship, and I am excluding certain comics that I just refuse to acknowledge that happen to include Barbara. So, but I don't see the relationship as being toxic. I see it more of like a mentor-student thing, or like a parent-child, and the child just, they leave the home, they fly the coop, they go do their own thing. And I agree with Johnny. He just grew up. He's not a child anymore. He should have gone and spread his wings, I guess. And that's what he did. And it was very much needed. And then, of course, we had Jason Todd show up. So things, but
no.
So it's an interesting thing, because we know for a fact that everyone loves Dick. We've had that conversation more times than once. And everybody loves Tim, and Damien's got his supporting family, supporting fans there, I guess. Yep. What makes me laugh is, or what makes me wonder, is maybe everyone I talk to doesn't like Jason. And if that's what's supposed to happen, if we're not supposed to like him, well then, well done, DC. Good job. Well, at least make the book enjoyable, eh?
Yeah. Can someone tell me what the hell's actually going on in the book? Because I was like, so this guy's a gangster, right?
Yeah.
Why are they talking shoes? Like, oh, maybe they're like, pushing drugs and stuff through the shoes, but no, he's just being pissy about shoes. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
I have a joke, but I'm not sure it might get lost in translation. Well, I think the drug business, it's all a crock.
Oh God! Oh.
And honestly, if we're talking about like shoe design, this designer does have a point. The Croc shoes would have been the coolest looking shoes. You
can imagine the drug deal going wrong, can't you? Just do it.
Yeah.
Not after the wrong time.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on like through this. Can you tell me what was going on through this book?
Doesn't matter. We're moving on.
No, I can't. To be fair, I tried. I really tried. I got up to the bit where he meets the girl and he's moving back into Gotham. The gangster showing up every 3 pages was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I can't help you on that one. It's after the Joker War. He's finding his feet. He's getting some new cast of characters to deal with, so that's probably it.
It's almost like a this is gonna sound cruel. It's like a Marvel #1. Makes no sense.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you
shots fired.
Shots fired. Yeah. Hold on. I've got MPP on the line. They're saying what? All right. Okay. Cool. Let's move on. Let's move on. Right. So the ass kicking comment. When we discussed about looking at books, Freyja and Josh and I, we have a little bit of a chinwag, a little powwow, just to kind of go over kind of which books we're going to say. And I inadvertently had said yesterday I was going to pick the Flash book, but looking at it hurt my head. Scoop forward about 12 hours or so, and Freyja goes, "Hey, I'm going to pick the Flash book." So let's get this right. My team lost. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. I've had to read the Red Hood, and now I'm getting a headache. For the love of everything that's holy. All right, so
Maybe it's the fact that we've been talking so much football that Freyja's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so Flash number 766. We're back to legacy numbers. Written by Kevin Shinick, art by Will Conrad. Is that the Will Conrad we've seen on Batman Beyond? It might be.
I believe so.
Yeah, colors by Hi-Fi and letters by Steve Wands. Freyja, I put your Red Hood question back to you. What the hell's going on in this book, man?
I don't know. I just got like Harry Potter vibes the entire time I was reading it.
That's my first joke. The Philosopher's Stone has been destroyed. Well, thank goodness we've still got the Goblet of Fire. You never know. Maybe Dr. Alchemy's going to end up in Azkaban. Who knows?
You know what? That would be a better story than this.
Yeah, essentially. And so yeah, Philosopher's Stone. It doesn't show how Barry created the Philosopher's Stone, or but he does. Like, he destroys it, and then his supervillain's like, hey, my other personalities are actually the evil ones. You should totally listen to me and create the Philosopher's Stone again. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He does. He creates the Philosopher's Stone. Barry. And then, of course, surprise, surprise, villain is super villain. So,
it's like an evil Albus Dumbledore.
I swear, for the fastest man alive, he's not that sharp.
Oh god, yeah. I was like, all right, well, okay then. And then I like seeing John and for like a page, but I was confused about why all of a sudden Iris is like, you're just doing this to boost your ego. I'm like, where the hell did she get that idea? Like, I went back and reread. I'm like, I don't what? So she's like, yeah, you're just creating the stone to boost your own ego, Barry, and you shouldn't do that. I'm like, bitch, seriously. I did not get any of that from anything that just happened. I was like, did they have like an off panel, off the page conversation that he was like, yeah, I'm the greatest man alive. I was like,
you know what? Just once, I would love to see Iris in a panel just being, damn it, Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then then he wins with the Philosopher's Stone because I guess Mr. Alchemy didn't, put together that the fastest man alive who has the Philosopher's Stone. He totally screwed up the reveal. He's like, before he even had the Philosopher's Stone, he's like, yes, I am evil. I'm like, but the Flash still has the stone, you moron. And so, of course, he turns into stone. I'm like, you don't tell the dude that has the super weapon that you're evil before he gives you the super weapon. So, okay.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So, plot-wise, I mean, potential. It had potential. Harry Potter vibes 100% the whole time. I was confused that this was a Flash book. I'm like, I didn't know Flash dealt with Philosopher's Stones and freaking. I'm expecting a Dementor to show up in the next book or something.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, it just, and then he turns the dude to stone. And I'm like, well, I mean, it would have been nicer just to kill the guy because if he's self-aware, then that's fucking torture because you can't move. You're just aware of everything around you, and that's a form of torture. I'm like, damn it, berries suck in this book. But other than that, like, colors were nice. Very, very bright though, very bright. But it's Flash, so I kind of expected an overload of like. Also, another Harry Potter thing. Did anyone else get like second or third movie vibes when like all of a sudden his limbs turned like to rubber and floppy?
Yeah. Yeah, when he just takes his arm and goes,
yeah. It's so I don't know. It had potential. It did, and I'm not even going to overly rip on the art this time because not overtly because it's better. A lot of the stuff I've read, so I'm being forgiving today. I'm in a good mood. I'm being forgiving. How about that?
All right, fair enough.
So go for it.
I have a confession to make. Is I've never seen. Well, I lie. I've seen one Harry Potter movie all the way through, and that's the last one. And I only went there because I had a Batman Dark Knight Rises trailer at the start of the movie. That's the only time. That's the only reason I went. So when I read Philosopher's Stone, I had to ask my wife. I was like, "What else is in Harry Potter?" And so Mrs. H gave me the Goblet of Fire. So, and that's what she said.
Is that a? I mean,
it's not a euphemism. No,
no,
I got cream for that. Don't worry.
Are you sure you're British, Johnny? You don't like tea. You don't like Harry Potter.
I don't like Harry Potter.
He prefers American football.
Harry Potter, he spends 9 movies going to school. It's like, what? It's like watching Beverly Hills 90210, but with spells. Josh. Flash.
I don't know about you, but every Flash book that I've read, every single one, why the hell does Barry Allen have to start every freaking book by saying, "My name is Barry Allen. I'm the fastest man alive"? Yeah, we know, Barry. Shut up.
TV show.
Can there be like a little thing that shows up on the page, be like skip Barry monologue,
like a streaming service.
Yeah, exactly. Like the skip intro, just skip Barry Allen. The colors were gorgeous on this. Very bright, very CW-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of disappointed Harry Potter did not make an appearance. Or a Voldemort. I would have been happy, or a Dementor. I would have been happy with any of them. It would have made
maybe he's wearing the cloak of invisibility. But yeah, it should be at least a Whomping Willow somewhere.
Well, something. I mean, it wasn't horrible. I mean, this is a better read than Red Hood.
That's not difficult to do, though.
Teen Titans Go might have been a better read than Red Hood.
Well, guess we'll never find out. It wasn't horrible. I think the art is what made up for it in my book. So, no complaints on my end as far as the art goes. My one issue, though, was as the villain is turning into stone, you see his right arm is kind of angled down, but then when you see the final statue, it's moved. Like, that doesn't make sense. If you're already stone, you shouldn't be able to move. You should already be kind of stuck in place.
Yeah, the old carbonite trick.
Yeah.
So,
like, oh, hold on, let me get in place so I can be very statuesque. That just happened.
We had to move because otherwise people think the stream had stopped and they'd be checking the internet router. So
exactly. So cool. I mean, aside from that, it's a Flash book. At the end of the day, I guess the one nice thing was, Barry didn't, reset the timeline
that we know of. Right. Okay. So, you've stolen my Harry Potter vibe joke, so that's fine. I have to go with something else. Why is it in this book everybody knows that Barry Allen's the Flash?
Because he can't keep his mouth shut.
Because no one can keep their mouth shut during this whole universe. Everyone knows Bruce is Batman. Everyone knows that Clark is Superman. Everyone knows that Damian's Robin. Everyone knows that Barry's the Flash. Everyone knows that no one has secret identities. Yeah. Everyone. Well, they should just run around without masks on because everyone knows who they are.
Superman gave up his ID. Batman was kind of outed by the Joker. So, other than, Deathstroke and Lex know and so on, and the Joker obviously knew at the time. So you've got to think to yourself, have I missed something somewhere along the lines? Has Barry come out to the world about his powers?
He's like the the middle class Tony Stark, where he tells everybody who he is, but he doesn't have Tony Stark money.
He's a working Joe.
Yeah.
A working Joe, bless. The story-wise, it's it's supposed to be a concluding part of the story, but thanks to DC and their current method of continued in our next big event, this leads into the Justice League event that's coming up shortly. Art, I thought the art was all right as well, to be fair. There are a couple of odd perspective moments when early doors, Dr. Alchemy is grabbing the arm to make it all flippy floppy.
Yeah.
That panel there, it's like, well, dude, are you touching him or grabbing him? Make your mind up. Yeah. Yeah. And
It's
then
getting rid of the bone.
Well, hey, whatever floats your boat, I guess. And on the bit where he's lying down on the bed with John, there's no way from that perspective angle that his left leg should be bigger than his right leg.
Yeah.
That's me just being Freyja. There you go.
Yep.
Yep. There you go. Other than that, it was all right. It was okay. The reason I was going to pick the Flash was because we don't talk about him a lot, other than to him. You know, it seems to rip him more than rip Aquaman, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I picked him because I'm psychic, and I knew Johnny would absolutely hate talking about
that I did put it in the Twitter feed, so you know. There is that. All right, guys. Okay, that's 2 down. Well, 1.5, I suppose. Time for an advert. Time to take a break. I need to continue with my great bottle of Dr. Pepper Zero.
And so while you're enjoying that, we've got world.
Enjoy.
We've actually got the world premiere of the Arkham Adolescence trailer. So brand new. I actually just got this yesterday as the time of recording. So
cool.
This will be, I'm excited. So sit back and here we go.
We thought you were dead. That's what they told us. Everyone stopped looking for you. I never stopped.
A life growing up under the same roofs, and you don't remember me. You saved me, Gwen. Now I'm saving you. No more silence. No more greed. No more pain. It was us, Gordon. It was us. No mommy or daddy. No food on the table. Us in the shadows. Wanderers in the night. We can save them.
Whoa, that looked pretty intense. That I've got to say, that was a bad pink tie. No wonder you went crazy. But hey, good to see that even the crazy guys use social distancing and COVID masks.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. No, that looks really good. Channeling a bit of Heath Ledger there with his voice, I think.
Yep.
Yeah,
and in my interview with Spencer and the director Milan, he talks about how he really kind of, that's kind of his motivation. That was the Joker he modeled it after, but then he's taking it in his own way. So
cool.
We'll definitely have to get Spencer on for maybe a special episode of the Definitive Crusade.
Definitely. Like that a lot. Okay, cool. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Next up is a book that we don't talk a lot about either. Wonder Woman. So this is Wonder Woman 767 by Mariko Tamaki. It's written by art by Rafa Sandoval, inks by Jordi Tarragona, colors by Arif Prianto, and letters by Pat Bruseo. I'm saying Seo like because it's like the football player. Josh, Wonder Woman, is she still a Wonder Woman? Sorry, that's a no.
I struggled with this book. Maybe it's the fact that I'm just not a Wonder Woman comics fan.
Okay.
But I mean, you've got this kid tortured by the media because his dad's a murderer, has powers, and then next thing we know, we go from a flashback to Wonder Woman getting her ass kicked.
Okay.
And I feel like that was the whole premise of the book was a mind game of Maxwell Lord just using his powers against Wonder Woman.
Isn't that bad enough?
I mean, the episode of Supernatural was better.
Oh, don't get started about Jason Eccles again.
I'm in the middle of watching Supernatural from the beginning, so hashtag sorry not sorry.
Hashtag never seen it.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah, well, I've seen the first. Actually, I lie. I've seen the first episode.
It's good. I would rather talk Supernatural than Wonder Woman, but you know, the colors were nice. I did like the effect of kind of that struggle, the constant shaking of Wonder Woman fighting back as much as she can. I thought art-wise that was a cool little technique of that blur effect. But I mean, aside from that,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Her whole stabbing herself. It was very LARPish.
LARP, is that even a word?
LARPing? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like she could have cut her arm and then just had her arm behind her to simulate that she lost an arm at the rate this is going.
Okay. Not a fan. All right. Excellent. Okay. Freyja. Is what was the art truly making her wonder, or was it a little bit wonky woman for you?
So okay.
I like the little dialogue that Freyja has with herself where she decides how bad she wants to kick this book.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, this whole book just kind of infuriates me to like. I feel like this whole arc was a waste of time. Because we read a little bit of it previously because we got to the part where Diana lost her eyesight.
That's right, we did.
And I still don't. There was no point because she was traveling around with Max Lord, and I mean, now she's getting her eyesight back, and now he decides to kill her. Now he decides to do it. What? Why? Why at this point? It doesn't make any freaking sense. Oh, she's getting her eyesight back. Better kill her now. Like, why didn't she do that while she was blind? And why were you traveling around with her in the first place? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Artwork wise, colors were good. I mean, and I didn't have any. Okay, that's not true. I had some issues. So on page 9, 10, I think it's 10.
Okay.
Is her arm shaking when she's trying to pick up a knife?
Okay.
What is wrong? Well, it's even on the previous page. This one's more apparent. If you look at her arm, there is no muscle or fat or anything. She looks like a stick. She has no arms. They're way too small, way too thin, especially for an Amazonian goddess. I'm sorry if you've ever seen a woman who has like muscle on her. They have bigger arms, bigger forearms and bigger, especially if she has like a piece of metal wrapped around her arm. Her forearm should be a bit bigger, but it's like it looks almost skeletal in that part, and it bothers me, especially considering like how thick they draw her. In the rest of the book, like she has thick thighs, which is great, but then she has these little arms, and you can really see the difference when you go to page 13.
Maybe she was hanging out in the Flash issue.
Because if you go to page 13 where she's like getting up, she has these killer thighs going on, and then she's little arm. Like it's so just too small. It doesn't seem the right portion size. It's disproportionate to the rest of her body, and it bothered me. And it was almost the entire book that her arm was like that. So whatever. And then at the very beginning with Max Lord's family and whatnot, and his mom's wearing, because they were wealthy, weren't they? Like Max Lord's. And then they get at the very beginning, they're at the funeral, and then they get in this little piece of shit white car and drive away. I'm like, that's not a nice car that rich people would be driving in. That's a piece of shit car. Normal people would be driving in. I'm like, why aren't they in a limo? Why aren't they driving in a nicer car? Why is it this little piece of shit, like rundown looking Honda Accord thing? Like that bothered me because I'm like, she's wearing fur, but yeah, let's get in the let's get in the Honda and drive.
Well, that's because Jason has the best car. His Mustang. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing was just besides my super nitpicks, like nothing else. Well, almost nothing else. The military person on page, what was it, 20?
So that's Etta, isn't it? Is it Etta?
I don't know. I'm trying not to be mean, but those little troll dolls with like the stuff in there on the top.
Mm-hmm.
And like their faces are really round, and I mean, sorry if they wanted this person to look like that. I mean, it's spot on, but I just get troll doll whenever I see, like, when you get a kid and they cut the hair off too, and it's still thing.
Mm-hmm.
The bunny looks better. I'm just gonna say, the bunny looks better, and it's just.
And the shoes were cool. I did like Diana's shoes.
I actually have a pair of shoes that look like that, so I applaud on the shoes. But yeah, it's just little nitpicks like that. Also, the freaking plot. Once again, this was like, the kind of the climax, and it was just such a letdown for everything that was going on. And the whole, he's too stupid to check like if she actually stabbed herself. I mean, it's kind of apparent. You're standing right next to her, and he goes, "Stab yourself," and then you don't check. I mean, she's right next to you, dude.
Yeah.
Check. And you can tell when someone like puts the sword under their shoulder. You know, you can tell because when it's in the chest, it stays in the chest. It doesn't fall out onto the freaking ground.
Maybe Maxwell Lord was just weirded out by Wonder Woman's
Little arms,
gimpy left arm.
her little arm. Yeah. So the whole thing just was a letdown, and this is why I'm not a fan of Wonder Woman, because it feels like all of her stories are like these built up things, and then they're just a letdown, and it's just stupid. I think the only Wonder Woman I am a fan of is Gal Gadot in the movie, and that is it. I don't like any. Well, 1970s Wonder Woman, but
I was gonna say Linda Carter.
Linda Carter is okay. Live action Wonder Womans are better. I'm not a fan of the comic Wonder Woman. Or, I mean, I'm also going to give Justice League Wonder Woman just because I like the Bat and the Wonder Bat romance. But that's it. So, comic-wise, I don't like her. Because they just ruin all of her stories.
Right. Okay. So it looks like I'm the dissension voice on this one then, because you're absolutely right about the art. The art was a little bit wonky in places, but I've got to say that I loved the whole story. I've loved this whole arc. The idea that, you know, it leads back to a crisis in which Wonder Woman kills Maxwell Lord. It hints to the multiverse. You know, it's from an all-time fan like me, it pretty much, you know, hits the spot. I love those episodes or those issues where the hero has that triumphant stand against the evil moment. And, you know, and that this book is chock full of that. Yeah, Max could have checked, but then Max is I guess he's a victim of his own megalomania, because he said the wrong. If you want the right answer, you ask the right question. That's how it works, right? So you don't say stab yourself, because that's just too spurious. Let's be specific. Stab yourself in the chest till you die would be the best thing that you should have said. You know? So from his idea is that he's all powerful. His mentality, his mindset of that is that because he's so powerful, he's not going to check, you know, because he thinks that everything's going to go the way it is. Yeah, I have no comment apart from the art that you've kind of mentioned, which you know, it is a bit wonky woman in places, but story-wise, I don't have a problem with this. I think it's straight up superhero stuff that you'd expect from a Wonder Woman book. You know, she gets knocked down, she gets back up, she does the things that make her Wonder Woman. So maybe not done with the greatest of style, but I think Mariko Tamaki is definitely a plus for this book, definitely for me. So there you go. Keep up the good work. I have to say, Wonder Woman is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I read Wonder Woman every time, so you might not talk about it every fortnight, but I read it every time it comes out. So
that's fair.
What can I say? It's one of those. I suppose Wonder Woman's my Wonder Woman to me is the same as Batman Beyond is to Josh.
So funny you mentioned Batman Beyond. I looked at the book. I considered picking the book. As I was reading the book, I was like, I can't in good conscience pick the book. I was disappointed with this week's Batman Beyond.
Press. Batman Beyond sucks.
Thanks, Alexander Knox.
You're welcome. All right, okay. Gotham.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Fine.
Actually, that was Joker that said stop the press, not Alexander Knox.
Who is that?
My apologies.
I was going from the Prince soundtrack, so you know.
Oh, well, you know. It was Joker when he saw the picture of Vicky Vale and he said, stop the press. Who is that?
Vicky Vale. I like that. All right, okay. Enough of my bad singing. So we're up to our last book. Josh, this was your call, I believe.
Yep.
Freyja, you were having your holiday in Miami when the news broke about Future State. So this is a great chance for you to get involved in this. So this is the Future State book. It's basically, I'm going to go through all the creators because that'll take longer than we've got on the pod. But it's basically a snapshot the kind of setting the scene of what we can expect from some of the books that are coming out in the January and February 2-month event.
Mhm.
All right. So, Josh, this is your call. You want to start us off, and then Frey, you can jump in.
Yeah. So this book, as Johnny so elegantly described, is a snapshot of what to expect from DC Comics over the next the next year ish, or next few months to a year. To be honest, I'm actually happy DC did this, because rather than getting a Marvel-sized number of number ones,
Mm-hmm.
we get this one book that explains everything. It sets the expectation of characters. We're able to really get an idea of what's going to be coming in the future. So then moving forward, we could just jump right into the books. We don't have to have a whole nother origin story. Hence why I said a Marvel-sized load of number ones.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I loved seeing the different artwork of all the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I really hope DC does this with year-long events that they do in the future. Have a book like this that explains what to expect in every aspect. I also like being able to, see a lot more credit given to those involved. So it's not just the characters, but those behind the characters.
Good shout. I noticed Stephanie Phillips. If you go jump back one. Stephanie Phillips is in there. She's on the Harley book. Absolutely love Stephanie Phillips. I love Stephanie Phillips so much. I have put an order in for the Harley book, and you all know how much I love Harley. So there you go.
Yeah. So this page alone, the future state introduces the next generation of DC voices. This is giving those creators their proper credit, and even a little more, because DC's never done anything like this to my knowledge. So I applaud them for that. I applaud them for showing us like the different variations of costumes and things like that. So all in all, I liked it. I like Nightwing's costume. It definitely reminded me a lot of Nightwing from Arkham Knight. Just the way that the mask is kind of more the full head type half mask. Zatanna's outfit. I really like the design of Zatanna.
Fishnets.
Yep.
Fishnets back. Woohoo!
Sorry, but Red Hood still looks like Ermac from Mortal Kombat. And I will forever say that. Catwoman's redesign, they got rid of the dominatrix style.
Do you think? Have they? Really?
They got still the armpit holes. So
yeah, I was going to say, she's still dressed in black. It's all PVC leather, whatever it is.
Well,
so,
when I say dominatrix, like as Freyja mentioned, the pit holes. Kind of cool to see Superwoman's design as well.
Don't mind that at all.
All in all, it was really cool to really get an idea of what to expect for the future state of the comics that we'll be reading over the next little bit.
So here's my question. We'll go with Freyja first, because Freyja kind of missed out the first time. Which of the books are you looking forward to? Freyja, you can go first on this, because, as I said.
Which of the books? Honestly, since I was reading the synopsis and everything for the books, I am actually looking forward to reading, and this is odd because I hate Wonder Woman, but Yara Flor, I actually took an interest in her. I like her design. It's kind of weird that she's from the, South America and with Themyscira, but that'll be interesting because she's not from Themyscira, but she's an Amazonian warrior from the Amazon. So I mean, okay. But I liked her design, and I just kind of it piqued my interest, so I'll take a look at her. Of course, I'm going to look at the Aquaman books just because, and the Batman books. Honestly, I'm pretty interested in all of them. I'll take a look. I'll give them all a shot. However, I'm going to be completely honest. Well, besides, I don't freaking care about Red Hood, but the books that I'm not really interested in, nor have any interest in at all, would be the Green Lanterns and the Flash books. And I'm saying that because they have the same freaking plot point. The Speedsters have lost their powers. Oh, and the Green Lanterns have lost their powers. Yay! We're doing the same plot points. Sweet.
DC's one idea strikes again.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. I am also really excited because I'm one of those people who liked Red X in the old Teen Titans anime, or a cartoon, I should say. I liked his character. If it's Robin, but not Dick Grayson Robin, it could be Damian this time, I'd be perfectly fine with that because I liked him as a character. So I'm kind of excited for that if it's done properly. And like I said, I don't hate things just to hate them. I hate them because they're wasted potential, mostly, or they just completely change a character to suit their needs, and the character does things that character would never do. So, yeah, I'll give everyone a shot because I am fair like that. I'll give all these books a shot. But if they suck, I'm going to call it out. Just saying that. I mean, if they start shoving down the whole, hate men because men suck, or hate this person because this person, just for stupid reasons like that, I'll call them out on it. But I am gonna say I like the new Batman design where his entire face is covered as well. I like Bruce's design where he just kind of looks no cape or anything. I really like that. The Dark Detective. Yeah, it's on page 9 if you're looking for him. But I like that, and then there's Yor right there. And I agree. I like the Nightwing and Zatanna. I like most of the Zatanna ones. I don't really like B too much. I have a thing against puffy sleeves. So she's in puffy sleeves on page 11.
Oh, hold on. I'm almost there.
There you go. Number B. She has the long skirt and then she has puffy sleeves. I don't like puffy sleeves, and that's why. But yeah, Nightwing looks good. I disagree with the Superwoman look. I don't know. She looks like a freaking Disney princess. I think that's why I don't like it, because she just reminds me of a Disney princess.
Okay.
And plus the S is like a little accessory on her belt. So I really hope they don't go with that design. I mean, it's cute, but she looks like a Disney princess, 1950s housewife, which I don't view as like superhero. Plus the long skirt it's not aerodynamic, and it just kind of
reminds me of watching Mad Men and Don Draper's wife.
Yeah. I do like Spoiler and Orphan's design.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to ask, how much of the age Spoiler?
Not much, and I was going to say that they haven't really changed Spoiler that much.
I don't know. She's looking, a lot more.
She looks more ninja-esque.
Yeah. So obviously, no, I agree. I like Orphan. I like Spoiler. I don't mind the Superwoman design.
Yeah.
I mean, Superwoman or Supergirl, she's had some crazy designs previously anyway, if you go back in time.
Yeah, that's true.
So I like both the new. I like the Yara Flor Wonder Woman look, because we're back to the like the swimsuit affair type thing rather than the Greek skirt. The books, I'm kind of with you on this, to be fair, Freyja, I'm going to give them all a once over, but I'm not going to spend an inordinate amount of time on the super books. I'm going to get Superwoman because I like Supergirl, but Superman, no, I'm not that fussed. Justice League books, not really. The only good thing I've got going for the Green Lantern book is that it's got Jessica Cruz in it, and I'm going to see Jessica Cruz done right after the mess that was Justice League Odyssey.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I think, the saving grace for that. I won't be looking at the Flash books at all. So it's definitely for me. It's the Bat books, Green Lantern, Superwoman. I'll be getting the Catwoman book, and obviously I mentioned the Stephanie Phillips Harley book.
Yeah, I do like that. To interject, I like the checklist that they added. That not only has release dates, but then you can really kind of not only plan out what you want to get, but be able to keep track.
Yeah.
Well, if they stick to their schedule.
Well, I mean, this is a 2-month event, isn't it? So some of the books are going to be priced at $7.99. Some of them are traditional books are the more $3.99, $4.99 price points. Now that I think a lot of businesses are living with the parameters that COVID give or set out, I think people are working out a way of doing what they need to do to continue moving forward. That's not to belittle or demean anything that's going on with COVID right now, because it is super, super serious. Obviously, at the time of recording, there's been news that the States have just had the biggest hospitalization.
Yeah.
We in the UK at the time of recording, we're still in a national lockdown. We're going to a local tier system when this pod airs. So, you know, it's still a massive, massive thing. So please don't take it for granted. It is still there. Just because you're getting your comic books doesn't mean the disease has gone away. It just means, you know, people are working hard to make sure you can still get your comic books. So, so from a publishing point of view, I think that's the kind of they've worked out what they need to do. And of course, there's a constant rumor that DC are going to be going all digital next year sometime. But that rumor's been going around for the last 20 years. So.
Yeah, and see, I don't like digital. To be perfectly honest, I'm very much a person who, if I like something, I buy the physicals of it, even like movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm exactly the same. If I review something for Crusaders, I like it. It's not normally my cup of tea, or because I hate tea anyway. If it's not my cup of coffee, then I'll go and buy it. You know, and my wife will say, "Why are you buying this book? It's not even." I'm like, "Yeah, but I've read it. It's really good." You know, but so you've got it on digital. I was like, "No, you don't have it on digital. You don't have it when you get the comic, man." But hey,
I mean, people should really, because there's a certain company that I'm not going to name names that came out recently that said, just because you might buy the digital version of the movie doesn't mean you actually own the movie. It's you have the movie until we decide we don't want it on our servers anymore.
Yeah, do you know what? That's actually happened to me. I changed mobile. I joined a digital comic site, not saying which one, and then I upgraded my phone.
Yep.
And when I redid the app and I uploaded it again, the stuff that I'd paid for wasn't there.
Yeah. So if you really want to own something, you have to buy the physical of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Why I do that.
That and there's just something about sitting down with the actual book in your hand and actually physically turning the pages.
The feel of the paper and the smell, you know, it's a
but let's be honest, comics don't smell like they used to.
No.
Let's not get into the smelling comics debate. We sound like freaks when we talk about this.
We're not freaks. We're just stating a fact.
Yeah,
Comics from the 90s, 80s and 90s had that perfect comic book smell. You cannot recreate that unless they have some sort of spray that you could spray in your car, like a new car smell, but call it a new comic smell.
Yeah.
At that point,
wasn't it due to like the type of paper they were using at that time?
Combination of the paper and the ink.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, to talk about comics from the good old days, you know what you should do? Check out the Old Timers comic book show. That's what you should do.
Mhm.
That's all they talk about. All right, okay. Any other comments on Future State before we hang up our capes for another week?
Honestly, from me being as critical as I am, don't hate on the books before you've even like read one of them.
That's
I mean,
yourself.
because I see that a lot. People are like, well, this is gonna be stupid, blah blah blah, whatnot. I'm like, you don't really know that. I mean, you don't have to buy the book, but at least like look through it at your comic or wherever you can or whatever, and
Yep.
then make your decision there, because you can't base things. It'd be like me basing a video game like off of a screenshot of the video game. Like, this video game sucks because of one screenshot. Don't do that, because it makes you, it's an uneducated critique of it. Because you're just critiquing an idea and what you believe it is. So they may be able to peel off your ideas and surprise you and actually have a good book. And if it sucks, then don't buy it. And then you can hate on it all you want, because now you actually have definitive proof that it sucks. So
There you go. Cool. Excellent. Josh, anything to add?
I'm just happy that you got to drink Dr. Pepper during this.
don't worry,
I've done
Johnny,
quite. You know what?
you weren't
I've done quite a
alone.
lot of it. I mean, I've done quite a lot of it. To be fair, if I can, I'll sacrilege. I'll take the old. There we go. Sorry. So I've done quite a lot of it. See,
I'm proud of you.
Proud of you too. Yeah, I was drinking Dr. Pepper too, Johnny, so you weren't alone.
Hey,
Yeah.
excellent. But I bet you didn't have to read Red Hood for it. Okay. On that note, join us next time on the Definitive Crusade, where we see if I get my revenge. Probably not. All right. And don't forget to check out the UCPN for all your favorite shows, including Flipside Focus. Josh?
Oh, yeah. Of course. All things indie.
All
Best
things
show,
indie.
best show ever.
Freyja?
Second to the Definitive Crusade, of course.
Yeah. Everyone's going to say their show's the best. You know that, right? Freyja?
And
K-pop?
K-pop. Yep, K-pop Cosmos. So yeah.
Cool. Are you having a special Christmas K-pop Cosmo coming up?
I'm toying with the idea, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I bet Christmas in K-pop land is bonkers.
It's an event.
And of course, we've already mentioned Old Timers Comic Book Show, and of course, Outside the Panels. All right, so all that's left for me to do, as always, is say thanks, Josh, thanks, Freyja, and this is Johnny the Machine Hughes saying adios.